Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, Libra. Let's see what these tea leaves have for you. I'm going to apologize. I'm not feeling well again. I feel like I've been sick for like a month straight. It just keeps coming and going. And so, I just have to bear with me a little bit. Interesting. Okay, and I'm just turning this so I can see. I'm going to pull it away, see if I see anything in the negative space, which would be the white. Okay. So, sorry it's taking so long. I didn't really put as many leaves in here as I usually do. So it's a little more sparse. Okay, so this one's really interesting. This is the one that's really catching my eye here. Get a little closer here. Okay, so on this side, we have some kind of horse, okay? And you can see that the horse is kind of looking down. The tail is up. It seems like it's kind of in a distressed posture. It looks like it's definitely not very happy with what's going on. On top of it, it looks like a person who, if you can see that their back is kind of parallel to the back of the horse with the arm coming down and an arm up and the legs kind of up in the head. And it looks so much like, to me, there's also this kind of some kind of something coming out of the head, going up into this more spiritual, metaphysical realm. Now, to me, it almost gives me this visual of like somebody riding along on their horse, and all of a sudden there's like a bright light in the sky, and then next thing they know, they're being like abducted by like a UFO, I guess. So I don't know that this is actually like extraterrestrials abducting this person on a horse, but as far as symbolism goes, I think that really what this is about is somebody movement on their horse. They've been, the horse often for me is related to hard work. Especially if it's pulling something like a cart or whatever. But it also, journeying, some kind of pilgrimage, or, traveling across a vast area. But it's not like getting in a car or, hopping on a plane. This is a living animal. And you have to work in unison with this animal, become very much a partnership. And there's a lot of, rest and eating and watering, and you can only go so far, so you have to pace yourself. So this is so much about the movement of different parts of self. okay? And there's been a lot of work that has gone into whatever it is that you've been doing. And I think that this is more about probably your career, whatever kind of work you do to make money, to pay your bills, to sustain your material lifestyle, okay? But I think that something has kind of happened, something has changed in you, or some kind of event has been the catalyst for all of a sudden you're feeling very much pulled away from that kind of work forward consciousness, and you're kind of being pulled up into this more spiritual zone. It seems like it's probably pretty abrupt too. So I think that this is probably something that wasn't like eased into. You weren't, going to classes or starting to, I don't know, go to church or meditation or, like a process of getting into this. I think something happened and it's like, okay, I have to figure that, I have to figure something out because I know that there's something more than myself, right? It's made itself evident to you. And it's time to kind of figure out, like, how do I relate to this universe? How am I interconnected with everything? What does that mean? How does that change how I experience the world, experience life? And it just kind of rips you out of the way that you have been going along, just kind of moseying along, keeping your head down, doing, your due diligence so that you can maintain a steady lifestyle, okay? And I'm not saying that that stuff cannot be continued, but I think that this is like, it's been being neglected or altogether has been kind of overlooked for maybe your whole life, maybe for some time, and you're getting to a place where you need to revisit some of that self-work and some of that spiritual work. And it's not asking if you want to, it's telling you that you're going to, okay? And I think that that's very evident here, okay? I also want to look... I want to look at this other side here. I just wanted to see this right. Okay, so then when I turn this, I'm seeing kind of a person wearing some kind of animal fur, maybe like a wolf fur, a suit. It looks like they're in a dancing posture. They have some kind of... I don't know, a stick or some kind of magical or religious device. And it looks like they're reaching out, okay? And it almost looks like maybe they're reaching out to an arrow right here. Although it kind of looks like a sailboat almost, but I kind of think it's like a bow and arrow. It makes me wonder if the spiritual happening has something to do with a Sagittarius that's in your life. Maybe you are in a relationship with a Sagittarius, or there's somebody who is kind of a spiritual person that you feel comfortable talking to that might be a Sagittarius. So, I think that this symbol very much represents to me somebody who is something like a shaman, medicine person, somebody who walks on the borderlands of reality, who can go, into the material-based reality, but also cross over easily into the other world or the underworld, the world that lies either on top of or beneath the world that we live in most of the time, however you like to perceive that. So I think that this could be a physically manifested being, or this could be somebody who is coming to you in dreams and visions, helping guide you to perceive signs, symbols, synchronicities, patterns. So I think really when you start to feel like you're seeing things that you are kind of like, oh, that's a coincidence, or, you know, something gives you a really strong impression and you're having a really deep kind of sensation, potent sensation, I think that you should really listen to that, okay? Take note of it at least. And, you know, don't kind of poo-poo it as something that is not meaningful. Excuse me. We're getting so sick here again. Okay, so I also see this N. Okay, so maybe there is also somebody with an N name that is involved in the spiritual work. Maybe you have some kind of mentorship or, you know, I don't know, somebody who helps guide you in being in connection, or at least being receptive to your higher power, okay? And I think that it's important that you commune with this person. This is going to make this work that is going on right now a lot easier. I think a lot more understandable for you if you are, you know, kind of in alliance with people who are your support system, are willing to help and listen to you and are understanding and receptive. We also have a D, and I think this one is really important. It's small, but it's in the center area, and I think, you know, with this little bird above it, it feels like maybe somebody who is departed, who is also kind of looking out for you, maybe coming in with a message. So somebody with a D name, I would totally look out for them. And I think this has to do with this kind of this little awakening you have going on. They might be also visiting in dreams or in sign, symbols, synchronicities. I think that they're here to lend you that support, to let you know that everything is going to be okay. That it's gonna, you know, this is gonna be a lifelong journey, as it is for all of us. But you know, sometimes when these things arise in our life, especially abruptly, it can feel almost like you're becoming a little unhinged or spiraling. So I think just really activating those people who help support and ground you, and also just being held in this energy of people who have passed, or your spirit guides, you know, guardian angels, however you connect with the divine, and allowing them to embrace you and covet you and keep you kind of safe through these times. Okay. Okay. So we also have this beautiful hummingbird right here, and it has its little nose and it's in flight. It looks like it's maybe coming down to drink from something. And this one is always just, you know, has a lot of energy. Sometimes it can be almost a little manic, but definitely an energy of taking in the beauty of life, being productive, continuing on, and you know, very quick and clever mentally. Okay, a good problem solver, and also, as I had said, I think that you definitely excel in your career, and you've been very career-minded. Now, this is a part of yourself, much like a hummingbird that spends almost all of their time kind of working, flitting around, this and that. So I think that's wonderful, and it's something that you're very dedicated to, very strong within these sectors of being. Just be mindful not to burn out, okay? Take that rest. you know, where you can. Don't push yourself too hard and allow yourself, you know, a lot of mental breaks. Okay, that's so important. Let's see. Now, we have this formation here, and this one to me looks like a person who is climbing a mountain maybe, but then I look over here and this mountain is kind of on its side, so it almost seems like it reminds me of when you read about people who are climbing like Everest or, you know, K2 or something, when they get so high up there close to the peak that they kind of start to get distortions in their perception because there's you know, they try to climatize to the thinner air, but all of the stress on their body plus the altitude and just the temperatures and, you know, everything like that, they can easily become kind of, you know, just kind of confused. And I think, you know, it's easy to almost get to a point where you don't know if you're going up or down, left or right, you get lost, and then kind of end up, unfortunately, perishing in the cold because of exposure or, you know, some other health issue that arises quickly in those climates, right? So I think that this really is tied into this idea of not pushing yourself too hard. I think that you are always, I feel like you almost have had a life that has been somewhat unconventional, and maybe in your early childhood, that has been not necessarily your choice, just kind of your family of origin, the way that you were raised. And so to kind of make up for that, these kinds of feelings of being othered or not enough, or, you know, just maybe not getting the start that you wish you had, you've kind of overcompensated with all this hard work and maybe going to school and, you know, climbing social ladders and just being the smartest person in the room, maybe the most clever, the funniest, whatever it is. But sometimes it's like kind of that, you know, hubris. You get too close to the sun, you know, and you burn yourself up and you know, it just doesn't work out. So I think this, though, is more about just pushing yourself so hard for something that maybe doesn't make sense anymore. Maybe it's a good time to kind of reevaluate what is important, what are your priorities, what are the things that are really pushing you in life, what are your motivations? Have you kind of grown out of these things? Have you gone through a lot of processing and integration? So it's maybe time to think about, you know, figuring out how to get your bearings back so that this mountain isn't on its side and you're not kind of climbing into, you know, an unknown place. It might be good for you to kind of take a break and while doing some of this spiritual connection that you have going on, also thinking about some core topics in your life. And again, that could be like, you know, just what are your real priorities? What are the things that you really, really want? What are the things that you really actually need? Okay, and that's hard. That's hard work, and it's hard to sometimes admit that to ourselves, that we've kind of been traveling the same path because of some perception or some goal that we created a long time ago, and we can't let go of it because we worked so hard towards it. And at some point, it might just not make sense anymore. But it's okay to, you know, slow down and reevaluate why, why are we still so focused on this? And I think, this is kind of why we have rites of passage in our life. Okay. These are things that, goals that we meet so that we can reevaluate where we need to go next. Okay. And I think it's important to, also just be able to shed some of the things that do not serve us well anymore. Okay. And I want to look at this card. This one is the Six of Swords, and this is the Science card. Okay. So I feel that you will be coming out of this difficult time. I don't think that this is like the most difficult thing that's ever going to happen. I don't necessarily feel like, there was a divorce or somebody died or, there's some huge failure or anything like that. But I think that you've just had some kind of existential difficulties, okay? And I feel that they've really come to a head. And I feel like if you apply yourself to this spiritual work, allowing yourself to rest and maybe reevaluate some of the things that have, been core motivators in your life, I think that you will definitely be at this place of realigning your, just the variables of your existence so that you can become aligned in this perfect place of science, and mind, body, spirit. Okay. And then moving forward in a way that is even more productive in a deeper way than it is right now. Okay. Now, this looks very nice. Either way we look at this, it looks like in about 4 weeks, things are really going to start feeling different. And I think that, you're just a person that, puts all of yourself into something. So I think if you can just really be very honest with yourself, even just privately, you don't have to talk about this with other people. But as I said, if you do have a support system, mentor, somebody that you can really check in with honestly, if it's a therapist, a loved one, in recovery, we have sponsors. So somebody like this that you can really be honest with, okay, that's really going to help support you, but also not just kind of coddle you either, right? I think in these next 4 weeks, it's really going to be a big turnaround for you, and you're really going to have the ability to just get back on that horse, but in a way where it's like your spirit is renewed, okay? And you'll have a little bit more of a pep in your step. I think that maybe you've been dealing with some feelings of, I don't know, short-temperedness, annoyance, or maybe some melancholy. I think some of that stuff is really going to be resolved through this work, okay? So let's look for that in the next month. And, we're all very busy and tired and have a million things to think about, but when these kinds of things present themselves in our lives, it really is there. So it's kind of, it's like you stepped on a piece of glass or whatever, and maybe you didn't really notice it, and then you start to have some irritation in your skin, and maybe it's even turning into some kind of, infection. But, as terrible as it is there to tell us that, hey, you need to fix this. This needs to get fixed before it gets bad, right? So these kinds of discomforts are there to help us, okay? And I think definitely this is something that you can not do easily, but something that you have the ability to go, really get into, really dig deep. And I think that that's going to be wonderful for you. So I'm going to look at this really as a gift from the universe versus kind of turmoil or anything like that. Okay, it's not easy. It could be scary because it's an unknown, especially if you've been departed from any kind of spiritual work recently. It can be hard to return to that. It can feel almost like you're in trouble or you've let somebody down, but that's not true. There's unconditional love in the universe, right? And we are of the universe, and the universe is of us. So it's, you know, it's just a feeling of really returning home to your true home. So, you know, don't be put off by any time that you haven't been doing this stuff, but, you know, just get into it. Find what works for you. There's so many different avenues of technique or belief or practice, communities that could definitely support you, help you find lots of different ways to connect with that kind of divine or God or whatever it is for you. Okay, thank you so much, Libra. I really appreciate you, and I hope everybody's doing well. We just had a big blizzard here, and we've gotten through it safely, and I'm so thankful, and hopefully we'll get over these sicknesses. I hope you are all well and not dealing with them. It seems like a lot of people have been not feeling well lately. Okay. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps me get in the algorithm, and that's, you know, that's helpful for the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, think about doing that. You can hit the little bell thing and it will notify you when new videos come out. The next Libra video will probably be in about 12 days. In the meantime, you can watch your other placements, your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising. And I know a lot of people watch their Venus placement as well. You can also leave a comment. I love hearing from each and every one of you. You are all so wonderful, and I adore you, and it makes me so happy to read those messages from you. If you are interested in a private reading, there are instructions on how to book one of those, and we will figure that out. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Libra. We'll see you again soon.